Welcome back to Trans Guy Reacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's college basketball, collegiate or professional. And today I'm going to talk about the May 19th Los Angeles Sparks versus Phoenix Mercury game. This is a preseason game, so it doesn't really count in terms of their overall score, but it does count in terms of these rookies and not necessarily all of them are rookies, but just the players that are not secure and have a contract to make a team. So it's a really big game for them, and yeah, it was quite interesting. We'll point out that it is the 20th year for Diana Taurasi, and she played pretty well actually for this game. Got her shots off. She did Diana Taurasi things. She's always a bucket. She's always good for a couple threes. To note though, Sophie Cunningham had an elbow issue. Brittany Griner had a foot issue, so they weren't playing today for the Phoenix. Julie Allemond had an ankle issue, and Azurá Stevens has an arm issue, so those two were out for LA. This was Nate Tibbetts, the head coach for Phoenix. This is his first year, first couple of games. I am not really excited for him because he's never coached women's basketball ever in his life. He comes from the male side, and the leadership at Phoenix decided to pay him the most amount of money in the league, even though he has no experience, which is crazy. And that's just like straight up white male privilege for you. The marketing around it was like, oh, he's a girl dad, like he has girls, so he's good for the job. Like, very, very frustrating, but whatever. We'll see what we can do. So far, preseason 0-2, so can't really hold that against them because it is preseason, but I'm just not very excited for this hire, and I don't think he deserved it, and there were plenty of other coaches out there who were more deserving and should have been paid that amount of money. It really frustrates me that he was paid the most amount. He's the highest paid WNBA coach with no experience. Anywho, let's get into the game. It started with lots of hugs on both sides in the beginning. These players have known each other for years, so there's a lot of love between them. You love to see that. Want to take note that Cameron Brink for the LA Sparks had her first foul in like the first 40 seconds of the game, so that kind of tells you where things were going to go. But she did get the team's first team points, so great. But then she got her second foul a minute and 30 seconds into the game, so then she had to sit down. I was like, girl, you were pulling Stanford all over again. I followed her at Stanford. I went to a couple games, and yeah, she is very foul prone, and she knows it. It's something she needs to work on, but luckily this is the preseason and doesn't count that much. I will say that the Sparks were very messy with their gameplay, just like their other preseason game. It was pretty messy to start with, but over time they got it together. But Phoenix was definitely playing really well in terms of their defense. They were locking them up, did a lot of turnovers, a lot of shot clock violations from the Sparks because they just weren't aware of the defense. But yeah, Phoenix has, I think 17 players on the roster, and like I didn't look at LA's, but I think they have like 15 or something like that, 13 or 15. So a lot of players that need to be cut. So this was a pretty big game for them. Although I would say I don't understand, like, they didn't play those players that much. This game doesn't really matter. It's about like figuring out who's good on the team, and they didn't let all of the players play that much time. The players that needed to be on the floor. Certain players got more time than other, like Bella Miracate. She didn't play very well, and she got like the most amount of time on the floor. I just didn't understand that. It's like, if you want to evaluate who's going to be good on the team, you need to have those players on the floor, and they weren't. I'll get to that a little bit later. Tasha Cloud and Kalia Copper were doing really well. They're defending the ball. Then Kiki Herbert Harrington, she had some back-to-back threes. It was tied at the end of the first quarter at 18 points, so it was looking pretty strong. During the break, I do want to point out that the house DJ for Phoenix was an Asian woman. I love to see it, and she was killing it. Her music was good. Her name is DJ Javin, Javin. So just want to point that out. She's a really good DJ. They were, back to the game, they were working Aerie McDonald. Man, Aerie was having a difficult time penetrating and getting the ball. She got the ball stolen from her many times, and I was kind of surprised by it because I saw her play in the offseason with the Australians WNBL, league, and she was fantastic. She played really well, so I'm just kind of shocked that she didn't play that well, at least to start in the game. So, and then Cameron Brink got her third freaking foul in the second quarter, and it was a moving screen, very very like total rookie kind of bullshit. Like you're like, oh my god, you're such a rook, but that's fine. It's the beginning. She's got to learn. And then Diana was doing her thing, doing a couple triples she had, and then at the half they were tied at 42. So very tied, very close game. Then at the end of the third, at the third quarter, LA started going off, and they were up 74-61. So they were doing their thing, but at the same time, lots and lots of shot clock violations. So Phoenix was still locking them up defensively. In the fourth quarter, you finally started to see the players who need to make the team get some time on the floor. So it was just like another, and this is mostly for Phoenix, because I do feel like LA did play more of their bench earlier. So this is another one. What the hell, Nate? I don't know what you're doing. Like, if you've already made your decision on who you're going to cut, I guess, because like, why wouldn't you give anyone any time? But even LA too, because Mackenzie Forbes didn't get any time. She got like 4 minutes or something, like a very few amount of minutes, and barely got a chance to get her hand on the ball. But I did love seeing Air Hearn getting time on the court. I did watch her in AU Sports, which is Athletes Unlimited, the basketball season in March. I did get to see that, and she made her name for herself in that league, and she was making a name for herself in this game. She was balling out. She was like, "Do not cut me. I am good," and she really is. Like, she deserves to be on the team. Zaya Cook for LA Sparks was cooking. She was going off. She was doing really well towards the like third and fourth quarter. In the beginning of the game, she wasn't playing that well, but in the third and fourth, she came back. Phoenix got the score down to 2 points, but that didn't last very long, and they ended the game in the fourth quarter 98-85. Los Angeles Sparks won, so they just kind of blew them out, and that's partially because they had a lot of the bench on the floor. Again, it's a preseason game. It doesn't really matter. Phoenix only had two players in double figures, and that was Diana Taurasi and Kalia Copper. So, I don't know. But Beck Allen, Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, and Air Hearn did have 9 points, so they were close to getting a double. But, yeah, I just don't understand why they played Bella Mirakate so many minutes, and she ended up fouling out, and I don't know. I don't understand that. For LA, they had 4 players in double digits: Dearica Hamby, Lexi Brown, Ari McDonald, and Zaya Cook. So like, Ari did come back. She was getting locked up, but she did come back and play well later in the game. Same with Zaya. Ari and Zaya weren't playing that well in the first half, but the second half they got it together. Rikia Jackson, the rookie, didn't shoot that well. I think she only had 2 points in the game, but she did have 6 rebounds. And then Cam Brink only had 7 points, but she did have 4 fouls, and they sat her ass down. So she didn't get a chance to really do that much, but she needs some time. Both of them, Rikia and her, they just need time. It was not the prettiest of games, that's for sure, but it was a game nonetheless. And hopefully that'll help the team figure out who they're going to keep on the roster and who they're not. The final cut day is the 13th, so 3 days from now they have to make a decision on who's going to be the team. And it doesn't mean, even if they cut people, it doesn't mean they're not going to bring other people on, because sometimes other teams will cut other players and then they want that player, so they're just waiting, I think the final rosters aren't till like the middle of the season. It's kind of crazy how long you can keep like waiving players and signing players and stuff in the season. So we'll see what happens coming up. There's a little bit of a break tomorrow. There's a game with the Las Vegas Aces against the Puerto Rico national team. It's going to be at Colonial Life Arena, the South Carolina arena. Is it going to be televised? No, because the WNBA is terrible at planning for stuff like this. The marketing team is trash. I have said it so many times. They need to fire Phil Cook. He is a terrible CMO, is incredibly unqualified, and you can tell very reactionary, which is the problem with the WNBA. To begin with, their marketing has always been reactionary. Their decisions are reactionary and not proactive at all. And this is another miss for them not to be televising that game. I know there's so many South Carolina fans who would watch this, so many Vegas fans who would watch this game, so many Puerto Rican fans who would watch this game, and it's not televised, so it is what it is. Can't control it. Just hope that with time things get better. But yeah, that is the video today. If you like this content, I usually say this at the beginning, I don't make this content for the views. I don't make this content for people who like one team or one type of player. I'm not here for you. If you only like that, please dislike my video so I don't come up in your feed. But if you are a new fan or an old fan and you like to hear someone's opinion, very biased opinion, I've been watching the game for 20 plus years, this is the place for you. Appreciate the likes, the shares, the subscribes. I don't have a comment section open. I don't care what you think. I'm sorry, I don't care. But I do care that you're here. I just don't care what you think. If you want to have your own opinions, make your own channel. I think there should be way more channels out there about the WNBA. I'd love to see it. I'd love to watch your content even. But I'm not here to sift through trolls. So I ain't here for that. Anywho, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.